So because I made a TBR of the books that I hopefully wanted to read during the summer, it got me thinking, and I figured, you know, during the summer as well, I also read books that not necessarily have to do with summer in itself, but that either have to do or take place around the ocean or water or whatever. Anyway, moving on. So I'm gonna recommend a few books that I think you might like to read during the summer. Yeah, let's find out. Now you'd think I would start off with a light contemporary read that would be nice and just whatever that you could just read on the beach. No, I'm gonna recommend The Living by Matt De La Pena, and this is a disaster book that it would probably terrify you if you were reading at the beach, to be honest. I mean, this book is about a tsunami that happens and this boy who is trying to survive the aftermath, and it's just crazy. I'm not sure if this is a book you would actually want to read if you were, say, vacationing, laying on the beach. Don't read this book. I would not recommend that. But say you were far from the ocean and you just, you know, you want something crazy for the summer, I would recommend this. Now, maybe during the summer you want to tackle a classic book, and I know that doesn't sound so fun because not many people like classics, you know, they're hard to get through and whatnot. But if you're up for it, I would recommend you to read Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson, because it does have to deal with pirates, and pirates, they sail on the ocean, obviously, and it's just a really fun book. This is my favorite classic, and I would definitely recommend you to read it because it's action-packed and it's fun and it's really great. Now maybe you're a person during the summer who likes to read mystery novels. Well, I've got one for you, and that is And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. This book takes place on an island near the ocean, something like that. And you know, you probably know the gist of the story, but if you do not, it's about these people who go to an island and one by one they start dropping dead, and you know, someone's obviously the murderer, so you're kind of figuring out who that person could possibly be throughout the story, and it's really good, and you should read it because I really liked it. Another book I want to recommend is Distant Waves, a novel of the Titanic by Suzanne Wayne. Now, this book is really cool. It's not necessarily a retelling of the Titanic. It's kind of like using that story and putting a twist on it almost. It's really good, and it also has some elements going back in time and maybe stopping things that are tragic in the future. I don't know, with the Titanic, because that's totally a tragedy that can be stopped by time travel. I don't know. But yeah, no, it's really good. You should read it if you want something really just intriguing, really, during your summer vacation. Now, this wouldn't be a summer book recommendation video if I didn't, you know, mention a mermaid book, obviously, and the one that I'm going to recommend to you is Lost Voices by Sarah Porter. Now, this is the first book in a trilogy, I believe. I've only read the first one, and I really want to get to the second and the third book. I saw them not too long ago at this bookstore. I was so close to buying them, but I did not want to buy them because I couldn't at the time. Yeah, it's just a really good take on a mermaid story, and I really enjoyed it. It's really good, and you should definitely check it out. Another book I think you might actually enjoy to read during the summer is The Last Song by Nicholas Sparks. This book is just, you know, it's really good. This book is a romance novel. Obviously, it's Nicholas Sparks. I've only read this book and I think A Walk to Remember by him. I haven't read anything else, but I really enjoyed this book, and it also has some really deep family elements thrown in there, and it's just a really enjoyable book that's, you know, really good and gets you in the heart. And you know, I don't care what people say, I still like the movie. Whatever, I enjoyed it, I like it. Okay, moving on. This next book I'm going to recommend, I probably wouldn't recommend for you to read either if you were, say, at the beach again, because it has to do with a squid, and that is Below by Ryan Lockwood. I believe I mentioned this a few videos back, how I loved it and I gushed over it, and I'm gonna gush over it again because it's freaking awesome, and it's scary and it's epic and it's so cool, and it's really cool, and you should read it because it's about squid who just go on a killing spree and start killing a bunch of people, or rather eating them. And the last book I'm going to recommend to you is actually a book that I just read not too long ago, and it was so good. It got me right in the heart. And you know, I read contemporary, and you know, a lot of the times when I read them, they're just okay books, but this book got me right in the heart, you guys. It got me right in the heart, and that is Sand Dollar Summer by Kimberly J. Jones. This book is so good, and it's not necessarily good because the plot isn't crazy or anything. It's not like profound and beautiful, but I mean, the characters and the way they interact and the development and just the interactions, it's all so beautiful, and I loved it so much. So a single mom who lives with their 2 kids in the city gets in an accident. I believe it was a car accident. I think she was hit or something. Well, so she takes her 2 kids to this beachside town where she grew up, and while they're there, the story centers more on her daughter Lisa's story. And her daughter Lisa has never been to the ocean before. This is her first experience with things like that, and she's just sort of, you know, getting used to being away from home. She's not happy with this, and she's meeting a lot of different people, and it's just weird for her because in this beachside town, it's not very populated or touristy. On the other side of the town it's tourist, but where they're staying at it's not. And anyway, just a lot of stuff happens, and it gets you right in the heart. It gets you right in the heart, and I really enjoyed it, and you should read it because you would like it. I'm telling you, just check it out. So those are all the books I decided to recommend to you. I hope maybe some of these sound interesting or something along those lines. And if you have read any of these books, leave a comment down below and tell me what you thought about them, and we can discuss them because I love most of these books that I talked about, obviously. So yeah, I will see you guys later. Bye!